Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get 2 free audiobook downloads and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/footballisamerica. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, iPad, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. For the listeners of the Football is America podcast, Audible is offering 2 free audiobooks and a free 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Books from all genres and walks of life right into your ears. The Hobbit by Tolkien, Divergent by Veronica Roth, Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, and Always Looking Up, The Adventures of an Incurable Optimist by Michael J. Fox. To download your free selections today, go to audibletrial.com/footballisamerica. Again, that's audibletrial.com/footballisamerica, or go to footballisamerica.com and click the banner on the homepage.
Hey everyone, this is Ron from Football is America, and we are inviting you to check out our website, footballisamerica.com. Catch up on all the shows and interviews right there.
We really would appreciate it if you check this out. We've had a lot of work put into it. We're very proud of our product. We really, really need you to get on there. Take a look at our links. Get on our GoFundMe if you got some spare cash you can throw at us. Check out our Amazon links. Check out our Audible links. We've got so many great things to give to you. Use that Amazon search bar when you're going to be buying on Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It'll take you right to the Amazon page as if you had searched through Amazon itself, because it is Amazon itself. It just helps us out when you come to make your purchase, and no extra effort is required on your part.
Yeah, a reminder that we do all of this for free, but it, unfortunately, is not free to do. So anything you can do to help us out would be great. Don't forget to also keep commenting, sending us those tweets, those emails, those Facebook comments, or berate us on Reddit. Without your interaction, we can't fix what you think is wrong or keep what is right. Let us know how we are doing, and you can always just get on there and tell Kyle he is horrible hellspawn and needs to go back to his creator, Lucifer.
I prefer to think of Mondo Jesus as my creator, but to each his own. We won't know until you hit that comment button. Get on there. Give us your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas. We really enjoy hearing them. I might berate you for it, but that doesn't mean we're not all having fun.
That's right. Hey, enjoy the show.
All right, April 11th, 2015. That is football is Ron, what's football?
America?
Football is America. This week's episode shaping up to be kind of a weird one. Not much going on in the news, but we're going to do whatever the hell we can. How's everybody's week?
Good. Lots of schoolwork, of course. That's what pretty much my life revolves around, that and this show. And
good.
Just
You're getting good grades.
Yeah.
You're doing your homework.
Yep.
The other kids being nice to you.
Nope, not really, but I really don't. That's mostly because I'm an ass, so that's really the issue.
Well, good. Fudge them.
Well, that and you're 30-something in college, unfortunately filled with a whole bunch of like 19 and 20-year-olds, which, you know, you're pursuing higher education and they're young dumbasses. I mean, what do you want? No, they're not going to be nice to you. They're terrified of you.
They think you're some kind of a flippity-floppity ghost dad.
Oh wow! Just gonna read that from the chat window. Okay.
Ron sent us a thing that said flippity foopity ghost dad, and he spelled ghost GHOAST.
It's just a typo. My biggest issue with college, for the most part, is that when
spelling.
No, when I'm get that too.
Oh, I gotta go get the bell.
It's actually when I'm sitting in class and I know that what was just said was completely incorrect and no one corrects the person. So when I correct the person, the person's like, well, that I don't think that's right. And I'm like, well, no, I know it's right. So that's unfortunate for you.
Yeah,
and then I get in trouble, not in trouble, but I get dirty looks from the teacher for correcting somebody in class. And I'm just like, well, I mean, if you did it, then I wouldn't have to.
Right, because everyone thinks that you're being a pedantic douche.
Yes, but I'm not.
Yes. Sorry to hear it. I mean, at least...
And to take a college class, what ends up happening is by about week 7, people just always look to me to have the answer first, because not only am I always right, but I'll make people feel crappy for being wrong, and then essentially give them the business to where they're like, why am I in college? Why am I alive? And then it just becomes easier to let me run the class. He'll just look to me, the teacher, like, so what do we think about this? I answer the question, and as everybody else looks at me, and they're like, yeah, he sounds right.
Professor Franz.
And then she's like,
good.
She's like, this is a wide, like, range of opinion kind of topic. No, it's just easier. This is easier than arguing with him. It's like, that's right. That is how you all live your life.
Professor Franzike.
Oh, you can't do that. You're going to be in trouble.
He's also mad at you for cluing me into it, so.
How are you today, Mike?
I'm doing well. My hands are completely saturated with engine oil. I was at the pick and pull today, so it's been kind of a big old man day. You know, just get up, just eggs for breakfast, and I'm going to the junkyard. I'm pulling out some parts for my car I'm rebuilding, then I'm gonna go talk about football.
And then the bathhouse, right? Right? Oh yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I am sitting around the house because I'm 4 hours behind you guys, so I only basically got coffee in me when you called, and then I'm going to be doing home repairs. Are we really doing what are we doing? People don't give two craps about what I'm doing. Oh, I'm murdering all of Christianity.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
This is what we're going
People
for.
would care about that.
That's what we
yeah,
want.
but they'd read about it. And also the people that care about it would be dead.
No, Kyle, they care about you flipping out. Is there any more topics we can bring up to get that reaction? That's the thing that brings the listenerhood.
Well, yeah, I just realized, like, well, how's your day? Well, well, what did he say? Well, what did you say?
Well, that only sucks if it's boring.
Yeah, well, that's because what we're doing right now is about the equivalent of lithium.
Well, good.
All right, fine. Then go ahead and lead us in, Mike. Jeez.
I was going to bring up the fact that me and Ron are sitting here enjoying these delicious Nature Box sea salt sun crunch treats. Were we going to plug that right now or later?
We can plug in now. That's fine.
You want to hear this? I come over and then Ron's wife comes through and she's like, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, and our Nature Box stuff came in. Like, do you want some sea salt sun crunch? To which I said, F yes. And I gotta tell you something, man. It's pretty damn good. Nutritionist approved. I'm reading the package right now. I thought when reading the sponsors for Nature Box, I always thought that Nature Box was going to be like, oh, we just go out and find the snacks, compile the snacks, and then mail them to you for your convenience. But no, it says Nature Box right on the package, like not manufactured for. Like these guys are making their own food, I guess.
Well, then you're up on me because I assumed Nature Box was some sort of hippie chick that doesn't own a razor.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's get to the news now.
Just all right, we're going to start with future Hall of Famer Troy Polamalu. He's decided to retire after 12 seasons, stating he never really considered playing anywhere else, and citing time with family is his next step for the time being.
When I looked back and we were talking with Neil Coulong a couple weeks ago, I told both him and Jack Finn, actually, that when watching Troy Polamalu play, it was kind of reminiscent of the times that I got to watch Walter Payton play and the way that he would jump over the pile and over the line to get to the quarterback. And just not only is he a great player with an amazing tenacity for the game, but also a really classy guy that never did anything wrong, never got in any trouble. When he's accepted to the Hall of Fame, it's going to be well-deserved.
Yeah, definite Hall of Famer. Definite dominator out on the field. People were terrified of playing this guy. But like you said, he was super duper nice, very, very friendly with the other teams and all that. He played aggressive on the field, but super nice guy off. Apparently extremely Jesus-y. Like, even Tim Tebow's like, wow, dude, tone it down. Because he says a prayer in between every play. That's a lot of praying. All right. God's answering machine is full at a certain point, and then you've got to fill up another answering machine and mail it to him. Troy, he gets it. You'll love him. Just play the damn game, man.
Not only that, but he's also hilarious in all the commercials that he ever did, especially the Head and Shoulders ones that he was really famous for.
Yeah.
And obviously, going back to him being classy, one of the plays that I remember distinctively was him getting yanked down by the hair by Larry Johnson.
Oh yeah, I saw that video today. I was watching a bunch of his Polamalu's highlight videos, and I don't get why this guy wasn't named Beast Mode. You know, the sense of timing on this guy for the snap count was just unbelievable. And then, I saw that video of him getting yanked to the ground by the hair. Like,
he's going to be missed from the game, obviously. There's not going to be players like him anymore because the game has changed too much to really allow that style of play anymore. The defenseless receivers and, the hitting, putting the crown of the helmet into people's chests and stuff, it's just not going to happen anymore. So that style is gone, and I think he probably took a lot of that into consideration for his retirement on top of, the things he's already cited. But it was just the right time. He claims that, 12 seasons is where he wanted to get to at least anyway. He's leaving without too many concussions, he said, and that's a good thing for him.
Plus, he's got a great future ahead of him. He is very beloved by the city of Pittsburgh, so any type of business he wants to lay down there, it's going to be successful. Now, I am of the opinion, I think you guys will probably agree with me, he needs to open up a chain of hair salons.
Oh, absolutely. Every man in the world would go to it, too, if you made it like
you drive by like, yeah, okay, I'll make an appointment, you guys. You jokesters. Troy Polamalu's special conditioner. His hair looks good out there. I'll buy it. I'll give it a shot. Because I've seen plenty of Polynesians that do not take care of their hair. And it's all brittle. Not him. Total flowing locks. Soft. It looks soft.
I feel like the hair salon wouldn't be the best idea because this isn't a guy who gets a lot of haircuts. You know what I mean?
No, he kept it at a nice even length, though. That means he gets those split ends cut, okay? Let me tell you, having long hair, finding a lady who can take those split ends without ruining your look, difficult, okay?
Dude, you love this guy in the same way that Ron loves J.J. Watt.
No, not even close. I just like his hair.
Oh, okay.
You take that, like, if he shaves his head, I'll be like, look at this piece of ass.
Hey, speaking of J.J. Watt real quick, watched a TV show it's a show that my wife and I watch, and he happened to be on the show. And by the way, hilarious to the point where he sang a song.
Will you tell me what show it is, please?
It is New Girl, and I know that.
Oh my God, I love that show so much.
I know Kyle's sitting there going, "Why are you watching that? Where's your man?"
No, straight up, I've never seen it. Like, I was just trying to be your friend. I've never seen it.
And, but yeah, really funny if you have a chance just to, find just that part of his stuff
if
on
you
it.
can go ahead and remove your testicles from your body, as Ron can, check it out. Otherwise, don't bother.
All right, well, go ahead and take us. We'll move on from there then. All right, fine.
Le'Veon Bell has been suspended for 3 games for his role in the marijuana arrest last year, violating the NFL substance abuse policy.
And I was able to tweet Jack Finn because I was just wanted to know what his overall opinion of it was. He was one of the writers for Behind the Steel Curtain that we talked to earlier this year and this offseason. And he said that it's not great considering the schedule that they're going to have. You don't really know what's coming up week 1 through 3, so it could be easy, could be hard. But claims that D'Angelo Williams is going to be the guy until he comes back. They're hoping that they can appeal it and get it down, but most likely not. 3 games is where it's going to probably stick. It's not going to have any effect on their overall draft strategy, and if they were going to sign a free agent, they would have done so already. But he seems pretty unconcerned with it, considering after you watching that playoff game last season, it seemed like without him, they're just a completely different team.
True, but this will be the beginning of the year when Ben Roethlisberger is healthy and everybody's feeling good. So while at the end of the season it would be absolutely devastating, I think at the beginning of the year, it's enough that they can overcome, especially if they end up playing some lesser competition. They'll probably be able to skate by and get Bell that little bit of extra rested. So, I mean, not a good thing by any means, but it might not be devastating.
The way you look at it is, if they go 2-1 right there, then I think they're doing okay. But if they go 1-2, that's a completely different story. And I don't know why. I just feel like normally teams that go 1-2, I did a little bit of research, end up at 3-3 after the 6th week rather than 5-1 or 4-2. So let's just hope that they can kind of overcome that and move on from there. And what's funny is this will be his 2nd season, and next season hopefully he'll be able to play a full season. So.
Well, and the Steelers start out kind of slow anyway in the past few years, so it's definitely not how they want to start out, but they'll be able to get by. I think the Steelers are definitely a team that can dominate the AFC. They've got enough talent there. They certainly can. So, let's not worry too much about it from the Steeler perspective. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Well, also involved in that whole ordeal was LeGarrette Blount, who was suspended for 1 game for his role in the whole situation.
And when I asked Jack Finn, I was kind of joking around, and I said, you guys still probably blame LeGarrette Blount for Le'Veon Bell's arrest because they were together when they got busted with the marijuana. And he said, yep, it's all his fault. But then he laughed. He said, and he's just kidding pretty much, but he does blame him still for some of it because he doesn't think that if Le'Veon Bell had been hanging out with Garrett Blount, then he would have ever gotten arrested in the first place.
Well, hey, I have an idea. No. That's not where the accountability falls. That's not what that is. It's not, if they weren't hanging out, then he wouldn't have been arrested. No, if dude hadn't been playing around with drugs he shouldn't have been using, he wouldn't have been arrested. That's where the accountability is held, my friend. Like, that's not, how you gonna blame Jack Finn? Oh, you got, or not Jack Finn, the other, Blount. How you gonna blame Blount? You're talking about, you got me arrested. It was your fault. Like, no, were you playing around? Were you effing around? Well, then it's your fault. Like, I don't feel bad.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like, you go back and you look at a lot of the times where you got the more veteran player, known substance abuser, and then you get the young guys in there, impressionable. That's kind of what's going on here. So you can say, look, Le'Veon Bell shouldn't have been there, didn't know what he was doing. But when you got the veteran going, dude, come on, quit being such a little bitch. It's fine. I got this. We do this all the time. You're not really put in a great position. So LeGarrette Blount's a known kind of D-bag. And Le'Veon Bell, aside from this, his record is pretty squeaky clean. So it does at least raise your eyebrow and make you wonder. Everybody's got jerkwad friends. Ron has me. So, like, sometimes you find yourself along for the ride, and then the hammer comes down. You just look at your buddy like, why? Why? The cop's right here. I don't care. I'm going to kick your ass right now. And the cop will be telling you got to stand there like, no, you shut your filthy mouth, officer. This is business. This is business that is happening.
That's my conversations with the NFL all the time.
You don't let me talk to them, and for a lot of the time, that's probably good, but I think every now and then, you just need to let me unleash just for those 5 seconds. I could drop those truth nuggets.
If we could have Kyle drop truth nuggets and they didn't know it was coming from Football is America, that would be the right way to make things happen, I think.
I mean, my truth nuggets are way better than chicken nuggets, even with barbecue sauce.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I got nothing, guys.
So you know how there's nothing going on in the league, fellas, chums?
There's nothing going on, like nothing.
All right, well then let's manufacture something. Let's go into Operation Quack Quack.
Operation Quack Quack?
Yes.
I did this just for you.
Are we doing this?
This is happening.
So, we're going to try and find a home for Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota hype continues, but we actually kind of love it because it's so varied this go-round. Sometimes he's the best, sometimes he's the worst. You know, ranging between pretender and franchise savior is really weird for quarterback prospects. And so we try not to get too deep into any of the draft hype or any of that, but in this particular case, it's kind of fun. So we'd like to take a minute, talk about some of the pros and cons of this kid, and more importantly, franchises that would be better off drafting him, franchises that, while finding him appealing, would be in a terrible position to take him. Let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. Ron, I know you have some strong feelings. I'd like to lead with your feelings, especially on the news that the Bears were interested.
I listened to the Chicago Bears Review podcast just yesterday with Larry Dyer, and he actually had a draft expert on, and they had a little bit different breakdown of the Mariota thing. And so my opinion has changed a little bit from when I did my tirade on Facebook. But basically, the way I foresee it is that Marcus Mariota, my original statement was that if a team drafts him, they're going to set themselves back 5 years. But I wasn't very clear. So what I'm going to do is clarify that. And that is that if a team drafts him and expects him to be the starter, that will set them back 5 years. He is not a quarterback that is NFL caliber ready. He cannot come in, take an offense, and go unless you are planning on changing the entire offense to be something that he could manage, because it's going to have to be a little bit simpler of an offense. It's going to have to be a spread option style, high flying, full of receivers, multiple options, no real reads, timing based offense. That is why if he goes to a team like for example, the Eagles, the Seahawks, or the 49ers, he could be successful because they run similar types of offenses with the West Coast / option stuff. But if he goes to a team like the Bears, which would be incredibly stupid because John Fox, first of all, doesn't like mobile quarterbacks. We saw what happened with Tim Tebow. He is not a fan of that style of play. He's a run-first kind of guy. He does some play action, but mostly it's run until you absolutely have to throw. And that is why I think that's why they kept Jay Cutler, because they know that they're not going to have to lean on him as much. But having him come in and sit behind a guy for a couple of years and then learn how to adapt to a few different types of offenses, or at least another type of offense, could be beneficial. We've seen that work for some players. I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't play the type of offense he plays now in college. He played a much different option-style offense, and that is why he was successful. He got to sit behind Brett Favre, who played a different style offense for those few years that he did. So if he came in and he sat behind a guy like Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Tony Romo or any of those kind of guys, and they let those guys finish their careers, retire, Mariota comes in, and yeah, he's already 3 to 4 years in, and you've lost those 3 to 4 years, but he's had the opportunity to get the experience he needs. Now you have a better situation.
Well, yeah, if you at least take the look and say he's got to come in and be the franchise savior from day one, similar to an Andrew Luck or a Russell Wilson, you're not going to get that result. You might get that 1 year of success, kind of like Robert Griffin had, but as soon as you try and adapt that offense to be a little more universal, a little more successful against all types of defense, you're going to run into issues like we saw with Robert Griffin. And I think the Aaron Rodgers comparison is great. You've got to take a look and say the talent is there physically. Physically, he's a gifted kid. He's got great speed. He's got great arm strength. He can make quick reads. He's got a lot going for him, but he plays in a crackerjack offense, and his mental game needs to develop. I think pretty much everybody's in agreement on that. And if he gets just that little bit of time to develop, it's going to be the difference between quarterback bust and Pro Bowler. I mean, we can only speculate one way or the other, but anybody who thinks he can walk in and be that day one guy, he's already ready, I think it's suffering, your opinion there is suffering from the concept that there are as many quarterbacks to draft in the first round as the media says there are. There's always two. No, there's just not. So let's take a look now.
Hey, real quick before you move on to that, just touching on the physical versus mental aspect. There are a lot of quarterbacks that come in with all of the physical attributes. We've seen that plenty of times, and you can't necessarily use that as a defense, but what I'm going to do is kind of spin it into why it's important that he is able to develop that mental game, because if you have all the physical attributes, you can turn that guy into a star quarterback by helping him work on the mental stuff. One guy that everybody always brings up in this situation is Steve Young. Steve Young had all of the talent in the world, but could not read a defense, could not put together the offense, could not go through his progressions. So he was a snap the ball, where's my first guy? Not there, run. And that was the entirety of his game. So it took him a long time, he said, to develop the pocket presence he needed to be a pocket style quarterback as well. If Mariota comes in and he's saying, I'm going to be able to just run all the time, yes, you could for our first few years. This is something that Kyle and I discuss and is our fear for Russell Wilson, is when those legs start to fail him, how good can he be? And that's where I'm coming from for Mariota. If he's able to come in and sit behind somebody and develop the mental game, which only comes from learning and not from starting day one and flaming out in a few years because people had too much expectation of you as a rookie, then he'll be successful in doing so.
I think that's a definite accuracy. A kind of counterpoint to the Steve Young, and if you disagree with me, I'm not going to take any offense, but Tim Tebow is the guy who I was under the impression that coming in, he had a fairly good grasp on the mental aspect of the game. A lot of teams said they were very impressed by his knowledge of defense and progression and all that when they interviewed him. So mentally he was there, physically way not. So it doesn't work both ways. You have to have all of it. You have to be able to make your progressions, read the defense, get the throw, be aware of pressure in the pocket. I mean, there is so much to being a quarterback. Simple things like throwing off of your foot incorrectly can have drastic consequences. And with Mariota, he's very close. And I think the thing that teams like the most about him is, despite what flaws he has, he acknowledges them and he's mature about it. He's willing to say, yeah, there's a lot wrong with my game. I know. I'm working on it. And having the humility, despite being a star player, I mean, that answers a lot of character concerns. You got the one guy, he's great on the field, but he also might be a rapist. And then you've got the other guy who is acknowledging his own faults and working on them. That's a great thing for a team.
Right. You look back at the whole Peyton Manning versus Ryan Leaf thing where, the first interview that they did for each one, Peyton Manning said, I'm out here, I'm going to start learning, I'm going to start getting this offense down, I'm trying to work to improve my game. And then they turned to Ryan Leaf and his first interview was, I can't wait to go to Disney World. I'm like, really, dude? Like,
I thought he said he was going to Vegas.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. The first words out of his mouth should have been, I can't wait to get into the film room and learn how to do all of this.
Well, okay. I will agree with you 100% on that. But if anything, if you hear, I'm taking the family to Disney, it's like, all right, okay, not the right answer. But when you hear, I'm taking my bros to Vegas, it's like, so you're going to be drunk partying on swans? Who would do that, Cleveland?
Well, so just before we get into the teams thing, one more thing. You're talking about the physical versus mental and how guys can't, it doesn't work both ways. And if you don't have the physical attributes, you can't be successful. And I agree to that. I agree with that to a point, but there are plenty of guys who have come into the league who didn't necessarily have all of the physical attributes, but were so good with the mental game that they have been successful because of it. Now, granted, that doesn't always last. One guy that I brought up in pre-show was Kurt Warner. Not necessarily had all of the physical attributes. The guy could launch the football, but because he had worked so hard to develop the physical part of his game, the mental part that he already had just amplified that.
Well, I get what you're saying. I mean, physical is great, but if you're at average, kind of okay physical level, but you're able to just dominate the game mentally, like if Christian Ponder had more mental awareness, he would not be getting replaced by Teddy Bridgewater.
And then you look at guys who have it all. I mean, when I think of a guy who has both the physical and the mental stuff just maxed out, I think of Aaron Rodgers, who has, like I said plenty of times this last season, like ESP. He just always knows where the defense is coming from. And not only that, but he's an incredibly accurate quarterback. Doesn't have a all the way down the field arm, but the guy knows where to go with the football every single play. I mean, the guy doesn't throw picks barely at all, and he has everybody's number that he plays with. And a lot of that comes from the fact that he is incredibly intelligent and spends, weeks during the week in a film room. And I don't know how that's possible.
He can't spend weeks during the week.
He can, because he's not human. You don't understand.
Well, and like you're saying, you get a guy, his division rival, Jay Cutler, dude can throw the ball harder than just about anybody in the league. I'd put his arm up against anybody. Maybe Joe Flacco could beat him, whatever. But being able to chuck the ball 75, 80 yards down the field is great. But if you're just lobbing it up there and making your receiver do all the work, there's so much risk involved. Aaron Rodgers is the guy who can throw a bullet 20, 30 yards, but do it in such a way that only the receiver can get it. And that is much more impressive. That's how you end up with amazing receptions. Why his numbers are as good as they are. It's not just that mental game. It's knowing where the receiver is going to be, knowing how the receiver is going to react to the defender, knowing what the defender is going to do, putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. That perfect hybrid of physical and mental. It's a lot more of what the league wants. It's how Peyton Manning played when he was younger and had a little bit more strength and health to him. He was mentally aware and physically precise. And Mariota, we don't know if he's there on the mental game. Physically, he's pretty darn good, though. But there's work, but I think we both have a cautious optimism about him now. So it's easy for a lot of people. I mean, we see it all the time. Like Ron said, he got into a Facebook war with some people because that's his default Facebook way of doing things, is calling people and then rubbing gum in their hair. We do think a few teams could be successful taking this guy. But let's talk first about some of the teams projected to draft him. Who are the teams that desperately need a quarterback this year?
Well, when you look at who needs him one right now,
Right.
Tampa Bay, Tennessee, the Jets, Houston, Buffalo, Cleveland, those are the ones that kind of really are the most glaring, I would think.
They definitely are going into this year with a question mark. Now, you could say with like Tampa Bay and Tennessee, okay, they've got the draft, but if the season was to start right now, there is no confidence in the quarterback position for any of these teams. There is a question mark.
Yeah, and then you have the teams also that you would want to possibly draft because of your current starter is aging. He's going to be leaving soon. There's going to be retirements in the next couple of years. So those teams are also going to want to get a hold of them, and those are going to be teams like San Diego, New Orleans, New England, even Denver, Pittsburgh, the Giants, Arizona, Kansas City, Dallas. All of those teams they are going to be looking to replace the guy that they have now. And I know that, most people aren't going to say, well, New England doesn't need to worry about it right now. They have what they need. Well, no, I mean, Tom Brady is up there, and he's not going to be around forever. And I wouldn't be surprised if New England, who, if they have a first-round draft pick when the draft rolls around, goes up and takes a flyer because they know that they have pretty much everything they really need, honestly, on the team. I mean, they just won a Super Bowl with it.
Absolutely. They're in the position to take Mariota with the 32nd overall. Even though they got Jimmy Garoppolo, they could trade him. Why not? Who's to say they couldn't? It's flexing their options at the very least. Now, you look at some of the teams that are kind of in that wild card position where you say, well, for at least this year, they're pretty good. At least this year, they don't necessarily need a guy, but they could certainly improve with a great quarterback. Not sure if Mariota is that great quarterback, but still, wild card teams, we're looking at Washington, Chicago, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. Now, these are all teams we think could take a flyer on Mariota. Obviously, Philly wants him and wants him bad because Chip Kelly was his coach, and that just makes too much sense. But those are all teams where it's possible that he gets picked up. It's possible that he's a great impact there. Who knows?
Yeah, and then you look at the other teams who people and fans, they clamor all the time, well, we need to go get Mariota. And like, there's always that one guy who sits on a forum and just copy and paste the name Marcus Mariota over and over again into every forum reply and chat box. And those fans are always part of the teams that have no need for any quarterback whatsoever. And you look at the teams, and I'll just run through the teams that I don't believe, and I think Kyle will agree for the most part, that don't need Mariota, don't even need to go that route at all. And that's, of course, the big glaring ones are like Green Bay, Indy, Atlanta, Seattle. Those teams, they all have quarterbacks that are established. Baltimore as well. And then you have the other teams that they've already got something that they're trying, like Minnesota, Oakland, San Francisco, Miami, Jacksonville. Carolina's not going to go out and get a quarterback. They have Cam Newton. Cincinnati, though, the Bengals, I mean, I don't know how much longer they're going to be willing to give Andy Dalton, but right now, that's
them being in that wild card.
They could end up in the wild card, but the way I see it is they're going to be sticking with Dalton for a little bit. They gave him too much money not to at this point.
Yep. And when you look at those teams, going back to the teams needing a quarterback now, the only team out of that group that I could really see taking off right away would probably be Buffalo. And I don't think they've got any chance to get him because they don't have a first-round draft pick. Houston is close, but their offensive game has too many questions right now. I don't see Houston being able to grab Mariota and have any great sort of success right now. Buffalo, I think, could do good with him, but
they're the closest. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kyle, but they are the closest, though, because they have a good defense, they have a strong run game, they have a decent offensive line, and they've got Sammy Watkins and Woods on the other side for wide receivers. One's a speed guy, one's a possession guy. So, they also have now Charles Clay there at tight end,
LaShawn
McCoy for the run game. I mean, they have all of those pieces already. So if they were going to do a plug and play type deal where he's actually going to be the starter, that would probably be the best place to go for him, and maybe the Jets. But the Jets still don't have quite what they need in the run game and stuff to really supplement for Mariota.
Right. And I also think that with the Jets, there's a little bit more question for the support on defense. We assume it's going to be good, but they've been up and down. You could also attribute that to Rex Ryan and push that over onto Buffalo as well. But if I had to say one team needs a quarterback, he is going to be successful from the ground running outside of Philadelphia, you got to say Buffalo. Everybody's looking at Tennessee with that number 2. Ron, I think you're in the same boat as me. having talked to Jimmy,
Yep.
he said this is not a good fit for Tennessee. He doesn't fit Ken Whisenhunt's play style. He doesn't have the mass that they think they're going to need. Playing against the Texans twice a year means J.J. Watt twice a year. And, okay, you don't necessarily say, well, the rest of the 14 games don't matter. These two are the ones we're freaking out about. But that's still a concern. You're going to get hit a lot. I'd see it being a total disaster if the Titans take him number 2.
Yeah, especially if they're planning on having him be the guy right away. I mean, it's like I said, that's a team, them, Tampa Bay, Houston, and Cleveland are teams that if they went after him and tried to make him the starter day one would be the way to set back their team 5 years. That's exactly what I was getting at. Well, and then the teams that would need one within a few years, those are the teams who could make him a very successful quarterback.
Well, and I think Tennessee is my personal belief for the worst place for him to go, because that is talent-wise the worst team in the league.
Yeah, like, if I was him and Tennessee drafts me, I would probably pull an Eli or / John Elway and say, I'm not going there. You need to trade me because I'm not going there to play. I probably wouldn't play there if it was me, just because of what I would have to work with when I got there. Yeah,
he would be. I mean, let's be fair. Ron, you were talking a little bit with me a while back. We saw the same thing happen when John Elway was drafted, when Peyton Manning was drafted. We're seeing it now with Andrew Luck being drafted. All of a sudden, teams have this mentality of, why can't I get my guy too, and go out and reach for a quarterback when the talent and mental game and skill is just not there. And Andrew Luck's kind of offsetting everybody's belief of reality in that you can take a rookie and have great success from day one. That's an abnormality. That's not the standard. And I don't think Tennessee believes that they can get an Andrew Luck style success out of Marcus Mariota.
Right. Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, John Elway, all of those guys are exceptions, not the rule.
All of them drafted by the Colts, by the way. Very confusing.
I'm just getting to the fact that this handful of 10 guys who have ever been drafted and become starters right away are the way that all first-round quarterbacks are going to go. It's just not the case. That's what I was getting at, and that's why I needed to clarify it.
But it's a valid point. Now, Ron, looking at these teams who need a quarterback within the next 3 years, we're talking San Diego, who's got Phillip Rivers, New Orleans with Drew Brees, New England with Brady, Denver with Manning, Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger. You got another Manning in New York. You got, what's his face, Carson Palmer in Arizona. You got, oh God, I'm taxing my brain looking at just two. Yeah, I'm just looking at the abbreviations and my brain's going, nope, you only had one cup of coffee. You don't get any answers.
Yeah, Alex Smith and in Kansas
Tony
City.
Romo.
Yeah, and Tony Romo in Dallas.
So looking at these teams, is there any one or two or three that stands out at a place where Mariota could go in, sit year or two, and really flourish?
The best picks for me for that to happen, believe it or not, I don't pick Denver because I don't think Peyton Manning is going to be around long enough for him to have any significant amount of impact on a young guy anymore. New England, maybe, if Tom Brady is going to stick around for another 2 or 3 years, maybe, but I still wouldn't put them at the top of my list. I would say New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and Dallas are my top picks for something like that to happen, because you know that Drew Brees has got a couple more years, at least 3. You know that Ben Roethlisberger's got at least 3, and Dallas has at least 3 with Tony Romo. So that is going to be the places you could go where he's going to learn a very different style of offense at any one of those places. So that those are my picks.
I'm going to say I think New England of these teams would probably be the worst case scenario for him. New England or San Diego. New England, because with Tom Brady sticking around for a little while, that's great in that Mariota wouldn't have to play, wouldn't be any expectations. But what is his true future when that time is up? I mean, we've seen too much with Bill Belichick. He'll take a guy, and if the shine wears off too quick, that guy's got nothing. And so after 3-4 years, now you're practically a free agent and you've got no resume. I mean, that is a rough position to be in. So I think that's bad. And I think for San Diego, they're kind of up and down year to year in terms of talent. It's hard to tell if they're improving or declining. It's very difficult to know for certain. I think Pittsburgh, however, that'd be an ideal situation. Ben Roethlisberger is a mobile guy, is a lot bigger than Mariota. He can take the hits a lot better than Mariota, but there's enough of a similarity to where I think the transition between the two would be the least jarring. And there's some defense in play. You got the best running back in the game right now in Le'Veon Bell there. I think Pittsburgh is probably the best overall place for him to go.
Yeah, and that's a lot to do with the age of the team. The offense is very young. You have a lot of guys there, young wide receivers. They need to bring in a young tight end, but they have young offensive linemen, and Le'Veon Bell is there, and it's going to be the best kind of situation for him if he was able to sit behind a quarterback. That would be it. The only other place I could say that he would have any success in that nature would be Dallas, and that's if they're able to keep their offensive line together, because if they're able to move up, get Mariota to replace Romo later, and then also still draft one of the many running backs that are left in the draft, they could essentially bring in a guy, and because of the offensive line, he would be successful. Even if it's not as successful as DeMarco Murray was, any running back is going to have some success behind that offensive line. And if you can put together a good offense around Mariota, get him to understand how to manipulate and to guide the offense to his liking, he's going to be successful. He's the kind of guy that you already have to have the pieces there. He's the type of quarterback that you draft when you already have everything else, not the type of quarterback like Andrew Luck that you draft and then put everything else there.
Now, let me ask you, I personally think Arizona would be flat out. I think Bruce Arians has an idea in his head as to what he wants for a quarterback. Bruce Arians wants more Blake Bortles than Marcus Mariota. He wants a big guy who can make a big throw down the field, and he'll train him up to whatever. But what about Kansas City? Now, a lot of short game passes with Andy Reid's West Coast style. Maybe not as much wide receiver talent. Well, okay, definitely not as much, but do you think that he could be successful there potentially? I mean, with the game style being different, sure, that's going to be an adjustment, but short throws, a little more control. I think that would be an okay pick.
Yeah, and just to cap it all off, with Kansas City, one thing that Andy Reid has that most other coaches don't is that he has a very open mind when it comes to offense. His ability to formulate an offense around a guy or change his offensive game plan to fit the quarterback is pretty uncanny, and most people, he doesn't get the respect he deserves for it. The Chiefs already have the run game, they already have the offensive line, they already have the defense, they need help at wide receiver, but they could go after that over the next couple of years. You'd have Alex Smith to sit behind, who's probably one of the most efficient quarterbacks out there. He doesn't really force passes. He doesn't throw picks. He'll toss it away and take the sack before he'll
great pocket presence, and that would be a great thing for a small guy to learn.
Yeah, exactly. So if Kansas City was looking long term, I would go after him if I was Kansas City.
Now, what about our wild card teams, Ron? I mean, is there anybody that strikes you there as a good pick?
Other than Philly, because that's where Chip Kelly is. I mean, everybody knows that would be the ideal situation for him. In fact, we're actually going to be having a guest on here in a couple of weeks who's actually writing a book about Chip Kelly. So that would probably be the only one. Chicago, I just don't think that he would fit what John Fox is going to be trying to do there. And if he's picked for Chicago, that's not because John Fox wanted him. It's because Ryan Pace or ownership wanted him. Washington, he could go there, but he's just falling into a terrible situation already. And St. Louis, that's not the style of play. That's not the style of quarterback that Jeff Fisher wants. We saw what happened with Vince Young, and it's just not how they would want to guide their offense.
Now, everything we've read about Washington being a potential destination seems to come from one guy, and that's Jason Cole of Bleacher Report. Outside of that, it's kind of hard to believe it. And to think that you would want to bring a rookie into this cancerous quarterback situation, it would be unfair to a rookie. I could see bringing a veteran free agent in, kind of be the leader of the group and be a calming presence. But to put Mariota in there, I think you could just write him off from day one at that point.
Like I said, I just don't think you can bring him into a team that's already a team that has not been successful and expect him to be successful. It's just not going to work.
All right, Ron, I think we've beaten this dead horse to a bloody pulp, and that's always a beautiful thing. So let's just get it from you. Do you see Mariota being taken in the first? And if so, will it be a good pick? I mean, just flat out, do you see a team taking him that will be a good fit?
He will be one of the first 2 draft picks because it's going to be him and Winston. That's just hands down. That's what I believe. Now, there's always the small percentage chance that somebody's going to go out and trade with Tennessee to claim they're going to go after Mariota, and that's what's going to be said, and then they're actually going to be picking somebody way off the wall. That could always happen. Oakland would do something like that. Chicago would do something like that, whatever. But he's going to be going the first 2 picks. It's going to be to somebody that most likely is in desperate need for a quarterback. It's going to be the wrong decision. I hope for him that doesn't happen, but the reality is that it's going to.
I think you actually make a lot of sense there, because when you look at Tennessee, they'd be very well served by picking up Leonard Williams with the number 2 overall. That'd be a great, great asset. But what would be even better is trading down and getting more picks. Now, even if you don't get the true value of Leonard Williams, and it doesn't matter that the team will take Mariota, you trade for the value of who's available at that pick. So that means Leonard Williams. You won't get that value from anybody, but you need the extra picks to boost up that team. The more I think about it, the more I believe you are right that Mariota will go number 2 overall, because Tennessee is desperate for picks. And I think the teams that are willing to give up that kind of ransom for him are the teams that make crazy decisions all the time. And it's probably going to be a bad scenario. What we all want, if we're being honest, is for him to go to Philadelphia, because that'll be the ultimate put up or shut up for Chip Kelly and Marcus Mariota. And if it works, fine. We know that now. If it doesn't work, then, well, bye-bye Chip. Hey, with this writer, can we get him to include a chapter in the book called Mayonnaise Butter Milkshakes?
I will talk to him about it. But wait,
right.
We need to move on. We have spent way too much time on this.
What's going on?
Hi, Mike.
How you guys doing?
Well, welcome back.
I'm feeling good. I've officially run out of pages to color. I colored all of Ron's baseball. F that joke. I'm not even gonna finish it. Anyway, we got some personnel moves here. We're gonna just try to move through them pretty quickly here. Running back Steve Ridley signed with the New York Jets with a middle finger held high to the Patriots. Then quickly he faded into obscurity.
And this one's funny because one thing we kind of talked about before the show was that he got a tattoo on a 1-year deal with the New York Jets. And then he's gave his thank you to the Patriots for letting me be a big part of that. And I'm just like, you weren't a big part, dude. You kind of sucked and you were always injured. But he's moved on to the division rival, and this is where running backs will go to die.
Can I know we're trying to push for time. I'm going to try to make the story 1 minute. When I was in high school, I dated this girl for a week, and then she turns out to be on drugs and just more than I was even willing to approach dealing with in high school. So I broke up with her, right? And then she had made a tattoo machine. And tattooed my name on the back of her hand. And then she got it covered up. And then it wasn't until years later that my best friend owns a tattoo shop in Pacifica, California, just outside San Francisco. And then I told her that story, and then she was like, wait a minute, and then pulled up the picture, was this it? Yep, that was it. So, yeah, date somebody for a week and get your name tattoo their name on your hand.
With a homemade tattoo gun, no less.
With a homemade tattoo gun. Probably the creepiest thing of the feeling I've ever had. When I saw it, it was the worst thing ever.
I can see you not sticking around for that. I'm going to say good call.
Yeah, this was the married with children thing right there.
No, that was before, or I broke up with her before the tattoo.
Oh God.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But yeah, I mean, at least Ridley had a year with the Jets,
No, he doesn't. He hasn't even made it through training camp. That's what's funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was just the deal. You're right.
But he hasn't even made it through training camp yet. And if he hasn't come back healthy and he gets cut, that's funny. Even more funny.
What would be the epitome of irony here is if he didn't come back healthy because his tattoo got all infected.
That would be funny.
I don't.
Now that's all I want to happen.
Anyway,
what that parallels is LaDainian Tomlinson getting the Jets tattoo when he was cut by the Chargers. Very similar. Only the thing was LaDainian Tomlinson was amazing. So
all the way through his career for the most part.
All right. Yes. Also, the Saints have signed the former Cowboys defensive end Anthony Spencer.
And I know that Kyle probably wasn't really tracking this one, but Anthony Spencer, he's an aging defensive end.
Just sneak in and diss the guy.
Well, he would do it to me, so. He was a guy who had been a defensive end and he was switched to outside linebacker when the Cowboys were in their 3-4 mode, and then he went back to defensive end. And he's going to be a good, one or two down situational, rotational guy for the Saints, and Saints need all the help they can get, considering that, they're just packing up and shipping out everything they got talent-wise. So,
well, good. We got the former Bears cornerback Charles Tillman has signed with the Panthers, citing coach Ron Rivera, who is Ron Rivera, beautiful. He was the Bears defensive coordinator during the Super Bowl run.
It's Rivera.
Yeah, it's Rivera.
No, I'm not even doing it. I'm not even doing it. Ron Rivera is so less fun to say. Former Bear cornerback.
They do call him the River.
Ron Rivera. I'm fine with it. Why not? Let's do it. Run for it. Live your life well.
All right. Well, either way, that's why Charles Tillman, he'd cited Coach Ron, who was the Bears defensive coordinator during the Super Bowl run.
Yeah, he's going to be a Bears great. He's a future Hall of Famer in my mind. Some people will argue that he won't, and because of the types of teams that the Bears played with on the football field, and that's unfortunate because a lot of times they were traditionally terrible on offense. Last couple of years they've been pretty bad on defense, and he was a part of that. That's what they're going to claim, but really he wasn't because he was injured for both years, and let's hope that he can go there. He can have some form of impact. I don't think that he's going to be nearly the player he was when he was with the Bears, and if he is, and I'm wrong, then I'm going to be upset about that.
You got to take into consideration Hall of Fame career means all of it. One or two bad years, that's fine if you've got like 15 good ones, but people could go either way on it, and it's very difficult for a defender. And at least his nickname is cool.
All right, good for them. Kyle, do you want to talk about free agency?
Of course not. No, at this point, the free agents left are terrible. And even if they're not terrible, why would you sign a guy now when you could wait until the post-June 1st cuts and then get a better player for less money? No, we don't want to talk about free agency now. Oh, there's people left? Yeah, amazing. Not at all surprising. They're probably terrible people who deserve terrible things to happen to them.
I was wondering how far you were going to go with that. Are you are you telling us how you really feel right now, Kyle?
No, not really.
Sometimes you're pretty hard to read.
Well, no, in this case, it's just we keep acting like we're going to talk about, oh, hey, there's still some good free agents out there, but they all have this massive, horrible problem. It's like, oh, there's plenty of girls you can ask to prom. It's like, yeah, but, the only ones left have, this horrible drool problem and their shirt's always wet. Or they lost their arm in a horrible car accident, but they kept the appendage there, and so it's all shriveled and black and terrible.
Well, there's whatever. I'm trying to find the article right now, Kyle. Okay, or Ron. Okay, sorry for yelling at you, Kyle. I meant to yell at Ron.
Why are you yelling?
There we go. There it is. I was trying to pull it up because I was about to ask you fellas if you were ready to wrap up the slowest week of football news ever, and I was like, oh, what else can I bring up? And I just found it right now. Maybe as a last-ditch attempt to pull something up. This just in, Johnny Manziel has been released from a drug and alcohol treatment facility. Do we want to talk about that?
No.
There's nothing else in the news.
Well, all right, great. So he went to rehab, and that's awesome because everybody thinks he's some kind of a hero now. Well, guess what? He comes out of rehab having completed the program, and he still sucks. So good for him. He's still a shitty quarterback.
You're a shitty quarterback.
That is correct. I am a shitty quarterback. I am a shitty quarterback, and I could go through a rehab program too. And guess what? I'd still be a shitty quarterback when I got out.
Would I be a shitty quarterback if I got out of rehab?
Yes.
Well, wait, no.
Trick question. I
we
wouldn't get out of rehab. That place is camp.
I was going to ask, what's your quarterback status right now? Are you a quarterback right now?
Absolutely.
I ain't asking you, Ron. I'm asking Kyle.
Oh, I'm so bad that I make the other good quarterbacks worse.
Huh.
But at least I don't, I'll say this. When I do throw a football, and it doesn't happen often, but playing catch with some buddies, when I throw it, I at least don't go, when I throw it.
God.
I at least don't do that. I don't make any noise when I throw it, and so it's generally pretty good, just not for distance.
Dude, thank you for reminding me. I totally, this happened on Friday, and as it was happening, I was like, I need to bring this up on the show. This is so funny. I find myself, I'm on a football podcast. I'm not really a sports guy. I'm getting into football. It's happening, though. My command, my division, I'm in the Navy, for anyone listening who doesn't know this. I'm actually active duty military, and we're just happen to be in port right now, and so you kind of get to live somewhat of a normal life when you're not underway. But I digress. Anyway, so my division got together for we're gonna all go PT, physically train. We're gonna, we're all gonna go play some football, boys and girls club. And I'm out there running around trying to throw this football. I'm trying to catch this football. I suck. I can get there real fast, like I can run. Like, oh, the ball, it's in the air. I'm going right there, bam, and then it comes to me and I go, that's it. That's all that can happen. I tried kicking it one time, that didn't work. Yeah, I've got a new level of respect for this game. I haven't tried to do it myself. Like I might indeed be the quarterback out of the three of us.
So are you saying that you kick a football worse than Lawrence Tynes with MRSA?
Dude, Charlie Brown's got chops on me, baby.
All right, well, hey, we got to get out of here, guys.
Yeah, let's do this.
You said that story was really funny, and then it was just really long. I think you confused funny with long.
Well, he does have a different view on time.
Oh my God. Let's not even explain it. Thanks to Nick Wright at SoundWright. We're wrapping up.
Do you guys
right?
think that Mexicans believe in time? Because I'm not sure that they do.
Why wouldn't they, Kyle?
Because
spice?
they don't need to. Because it's hot all the time in the desert.
All right, well, thank you for that little geographical lesson. I appreciate that.
Are you just angry because you're in Alaska and it's cold?
No, it's actually like 50 degrees. It's freaking super warm out right now.
Oh, that's 50 degrees is super warm?
It is when you're used to negative 20, jackass. That's a 70-degree shift.
I was hoping you were going to say it is when you're a fat guy.
Also true.
Oh, wow. That's a good fork dig right there.
Yeah.
Fork
That was
dig?
actually very clever. All right, so hey, yes.
Hey, okay, but is there anyone that's not of the usual people that we want to thank before we get into our lines here?
No, go ahead.
Oh, you just want to wrap up the show?
Well, I want to thank Mexicans. Your food is delicious.
Oh, it is.
That's Lord Kyle.
Just because your butthole can't handle spicy things anymore because you had the wrong idea about chili peppers. Wrong hole, Ron. Wrong hole.
All right.
Hey,
Told him not to put the ghost pepper up there, but he saw it on a YouTube video.
All right, can we finally end this thing? Can we do that? Can we get out of here?
Hey, remember, I listened to last week's episode, and remember when I said that joke about you and me running a three-legged race of retarded?
That's what's happening right now.
This is a triathlon.
Yeah.
Now listen to me. Thank you to Nick Wright at SoundWright. That's Sound Tack Right with a W, SoundWright.com. We've got the link on our sponsor page. That's our guy. And of course, thanks to the listeners for actually tuning in and being the reason we keep doing this. I don't know if they're tuning in or streaming in. Technically not tuning, but we still appreciate you either way, however you found us.
Thank you to the military. We love what you do.
Yeah.
We love that you're doing it. We want you to come home safe with all of your limbs. But if you come home without all your limbs, that's okay. Still come home. You're not banished. It's okay.
Yes.
Also, thanks to our sponsors, Amazon, Audible, NatureBox. Make sure you're going on there, using the Amazon search bar on footballisamerica.com, checking out our savings with NatureBox, footballisamerica.com/NatureBox, and of course, looking into all the great audiobooks that Audible has at audibletrial.com/footballisamerica. Thanks to all the guests we had this last week, Seth Geiser from arrowheadpride.com and Brian Gilliford from buffalorumblings.com. Keep checking back. Next week, we have interviews with 7 SB Nation editors now. Mile High Report for the Broncos, Cat Scratch Readers for the Panthers, Bleeding Green Nation for the Eagles, Blogging the Boys to talk about the Cowboys, Baltimore Beatdown for Ravens Talk, and once again Niners Nation to converse about the 49ers. And that'll be take 2 of that interview because I messed up the first one. Oh, also Pat's Pulpit for the Patriots, which will be it's going to be my favorite interview of all season because I get to listen to Kyle talk to the Patriots guy.
You shut your whore mouth.
But we're already up and running with lining up the rest of the guest spots. We're going to have those final 4, the Pats, the Seahawks, the Colts, and Packers. Yep. Make sure you're tuning in to change out our streaming in, as Mike would say, to check those out.
All right, and make sure to send us all your tweets at Twitter at FBIA Podcast. Hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/footballisamerica. Email us all you want. You submit emails on the website through the contact form, or simply Ron at footballisamerica.com or Kyle at footballamerica.com. That's KEIL. All right, do that one. And you know what? I'm going to say it, man. I'm just going to ask you on air. Why the hell don't I have an email?
You do have an email.
Oh, it's because you hate me. Well, I have one.
You do have an email, Mike. I actually sent you the link.
Oh.
And you didn't do it. So that's that. You know what?
Wait, where did you? I'm reading it right now.
You have your. I've sent you.
This is kind of awkward.
Invitation to collaborate.
Yes.
What the hell's that mean?
Yep. So there you go.
I thought it just meant that you put new stuff in the. Well, anyway, hey, hell yeah, Mike at footballisamerica.com. You can talk to me about air-cooled Volkswagens. That's this thing I do. I'm also big into that. Anyway, but yeah, just get in touch with us. We're starting to really roll into being all about the, not being all about, but get more into listener participation. So if you got something to say and hit us up, we're actually, I know we kind of come off as abrasive nerds, but we're actually rather approachable. Yeah.
I like how you are essentially labeling us as abrasive nerds.
Oh, shut up! You are the most abrasive nerd I've ever met.
That's true, Kyle.
Like,
you know, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know, I'm offended, but at the same time, it's accurate. And so, like, what is my true anger here? Huh. All right, well, I gotta go get drunk.
Good plan.
All right, everybody, time to get drunk. Love you, bye.
All right. Well, Mike was supposed to wrap. You were supposed to wrap us up, Mike. But
oh no, Kyle already thanked the military. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I already did that. We're
know.
going around in circles.
all right. Well, that's gonna wrap us up, everybody.
Yes, yeah, let's do that.
Thanks once again. Good night, guys.
Dumbest group of gay cowboys on the trail.
Good night, Kyle.
You abrasive nerd.
Swear to God.
Stop recording, you guys. Jesus.
No!